Hi, this is Sarah Mikesell with the Cattle Site, and today we're here with Gary Tiller. He is the Commercial Director of Vence, a subsidiary of Merck Animal Health, also known as MSD Animal Health in other parts of the world. Thanks for being with us today, Gary.
Well, thank you. I look forward to this.
Very good. And today, Gary and I are in San Antonio, Texas. Sunny San Antonio, or I should say warm. I haven't seen a lot of sun, but it's a lot warmer than where I was. And we're at the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, also known as CattleCon. And we're going to talk today a little bit about virtual fencing for rotational grazing and cattle management. So tell me about Merck Animal Health solution, Vence. How does it work, and kind of what are the benefits that producers will see?
Sure. So if you think about virtual fencing at its very base, think about the invisible fence for your dog.
Right.
You're basically using a collar that has that emits a sound and a pulse to really influence the behavior of the animal. And in our case, we are just wanting these cows to go where we would like them to go and to graze where we would like them to graze.
Very good. And tell us how it works, right? What's the process if a producer wanted to set up? What would they do?
Yeah, so today, if you're interested in virtual fencing, you can either reach out to us directly through our sales reps or go online and fill out a information request, and somebody will be back with you in literally 24 hours. So once you do that, we will ask you a big series of questions, because it's really important to understand what are your goals at the ranch, and then really to understand what is the terrain and tell us about your ranch, because every ranch is individual. It's not a one box solution. So depending on the topography, so depending on the size, depending on the number of cows, it'll all impact what we would be recommending to you as the solution.
Very good. And tell us a little bit about kind of the physical nature of it, right? We've got a picture of a cow back here wearing the sensor.
Yeah, so basically the system has three components. It has a base station, which is literally a telecommunications backhaul for the data. You have the collar, which contains the pulse mechanism and the sound to control the behavior, but at the same time it also contains a GPS chip. It contains a chip to be able to communicate and upload the data packets that would identify where your cow is, the direction it's moving, and those type of things. That gets backhauled through the base station to the cloud, and it comes back down into your proprietary software. So when you open your computer and you log into your software, you'll see your ranch on a Google map.
Right.
You'll have inputted all of your hard fences, your water, your buildings, everything, and then you'll also be able to see your cows individually based on each collar. And each collar can be assigned individually to an ID number on a cow.
Right. And some of these ranches we're talking about out west are big spaces, right? And you're gonna, I know we're talking about rotational grazing, so we're moving groups of cows, right?
Correct. I would say today we approximately have about 4 million acres of rangeland in the United States. It's currently under a plan to be able to actually enable virtual fencing. So it's a large scale solution. We use it extensively in the West, where you just have big range and fencing and those type things may not even be physically possible, but it still allows you to be able to manage your cattle in those situations.
Right. But it could have applications in the Midwest or the Southeast, right? Where you've got cow-calf operations, et cetera, right?
Absolutely. There's no limit to where it can operate. The system is just literally building a communications network around your ranch. Once you have the collars on the cows and you send them the instructions, you're not limited by your geolocation in the U.S.
Right. And so what are some of the benefits? Why does a producer do this beyond just seeing their cows on the grid?
Yeah, so there's multiple value propositions for virtual fencing. If you start at the basic and you say, hey, I've got to replace fence, and you just do the simple economic calculation of what it's going to cost me to replace, what it's going to cost me to maintain, including the labor, that's a calculation you can use to determine whether this is a good idea for you. By the same token, there's significant labor savings to be had, whether that's in moving electric fences if you're doing rotational grazing. That's also in your cost of gathering cattle. Today, with this type of a system, you would know where your cattle are. You could move them to a sort of a central gathering place and significantly reduce the number of people you need to to say round up cattle.
Very good. And we were talking before, needing new fence is not the only reason why you would do this. The return on investment could be there for a lot of different applications.
Yeah, we like to say that there's really three pillars to why you would want to use virtual fence. One is productivity at the ranch, and then that's the number one factor, because if you can't make money in this business, you can't afford to be in this business. The second thing is about sustainability and how do you manage those natural resources that you're blessed to have as a ranch owner, whether you own them, whether you're leasing them, or whether you're on a government allotment. So this gives you an opportunity to really, with intent, manage those lands. And the third thing we like to say is legacy, because if you're not profitable and you don't steward the land, there's really not going to be anything to pass on to that next generation and the generation after that.
Right. And this application is available. We're here in the United States, and obviously you're out on the pastures here, but it's available in other parts of the world, correct?
Yeah, currently we have Vence is commercially available in the U.S. and in Australia. We have pilot programs going on in New Zealand and Canada. And as we look to expand, this is a geo product. We will be expanding into Latin America. We will be expanding further into Asia Pacific, and obviously into the EU.
Very good. And one additional question. I mean, this is providing data back to producers, right? I mean, data is the name of the game right now, right?
Absolutely, it is providing data. It's really knowing. Most of the ranchers that you talk to who use this, they really feel like when you first talk to them, they know what their cows do.
Right.
This gives them an opportunity to see and visualize 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 years, and actually learn what your cattle really are doing when you're not around. So the data is extremely important. And I think that's one of the benefits of working with Merck Animal Health as well, because as a human pharmaceutical company, which is our parent company, Merck,
right.
We take data privacy very serious. I mean, we have millions and millions of human pharmaceutical customers, and we treat your data and on the virtual fencing side the same way we would treat it as if it were your medical information.
Very good. Well, thank you so much. This is great information, Gary.
You bet. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you.
Thanks. This is Sarah Mikesell with the Cattle Site.